Welcome to this meeting of your Greeley-Evans School Board. It's Monday, August 14th, 2017. This meeting will come to order. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Crane.
Mr. DeWitt?
Present.
Mr. Hafley?
Present.
Mr. Hall?
Present.
Mr. Lydia?
Present.
Ms. Pappas?
Present.
Dr. Richard?
Present.
Mrs. Solis?
Present.
7 members present.
Thank you very much. Well, we've got a great staff in place for the new school year, and our students will soon be back. Our communities gave generously to support our school kickoff event on Saturday, but as part of my president announcements, I primarily would like to just point out that we have an entire board present this evening, and that's been a little while since we've had all 7 volunteer elected officials at this table. And if you don't mind, I'd like to have a round of applause to welcome everybody back. And now the work begins for those two. Thank you very much and welcome everyone. The next item is hearing of persons desiring to speak before the Board of Education. We normally give a few minutes for the public to be able to communicate with the board. We don't normally respond to comments offered, but we're listening and we'll provide follow-up. And the one presenter that we have is Pastor David Meek, speaking about the Bible in schools. Pastor, you know the way, and you know that you don't need to rush. Welcome, sir.
Hey, good to see Doug back.
Yes, sir.
Glad to be back.
I hope y'all have good news for me. I understand I have a relative with me tonight all the way from Austin, Texas. So I'm glad she's here. I don't think she'll speak up, but anyway, I'm glad she's here. I did not bring her here. I've just now met her. And that. So anyway, I guess you haven't made any decision yet about the schools having the Bible curriculum because nobody's called me for a contract to teach. I offered Doug, I don't know if you get on, I don't even know if you get my emails or anything, but I offered in that one letter, I'd do it for $100 a year and I could do probably 2 or 3 of those classes. I do have a school teacher that needs a job right now. She has a master's as a librarian and she has substituted for you, okay, that's Star Kinsel and that, so I'll let you know about that, and of course she could do that class as well. And the other thing I want to let you know about, it hit me, because I taught school. I taught 3rd grade one year, and my son was in a kindergarten, and by the time he got done with kindergarten, he could read. Better than, as good as my daughter in the 2nd grade. It's called the ABECA program, A-B-E-K-A, out of Pensacola, Florida. That's where they have 17 charts, and they learn the sounds and how to spell them and sound out, which makes them to be able to read and pronounce words correctly and to spell correctly. Okay? So I just thought of that. Sorry I didn't think of it earlier. But anyway, I also sent out and gave you a letter, I think. I handed you a letter. Kentucky, the whole state of Kentucky, has to have the online Bible curriculum elective in their public schools this fall. And it was just passed probably 6 weeks ago or so that it was passed and signed. And so they have to do it. So I know you're coming down to the line, and I'm scared that's what you're going to tell me. You don't have time and you don't have money. So the next thing I would like to say, don't expect to get any money out of us in November. And remind you, as Teresa Myers knows, most Christians, most conservatives, most pastors, most seniors do not take the Greeley Tribune to know half what's going on. And so any surveys you do or anybody does through the Tribune is not correct, is never accurate, okay? So I just remind you of that. And so I don't know where you're at on the tax, but I don't think you're going to get support again. And I don't even know if you'll get it if you put the Bible in schools, would even get the support for more money. I think if you would do it, it'd help not have so many, have more charter schools started and expanded if you really loved our kids. loved your teachers, loved your principals, and loved your superintendents by having the Bible back in our schools. And you all know the website, and I've done it since September, and I'm not going away.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you all. Good to see you, Doug, and going. See, I had a scare Saturday morning. I ended up in an emergency room, but it wasn't my heart. It's because I worked too much. And it's called CV axles. So anyway, thank you all.
Thank you,
Lord
sir.
bless you all.
The next item is the work session report. Ms. Crane?
Board of Education President Roger DeWitt began the work session with comments and updates from each board member. He wanted to thank Dr. Pilch for making the downtown building more secure for visitors and staff. Mr. DeWitt then proceeded to review the calendar of upcoming events. Ms. Pappas and Dr. Richard provided information on the preparations for the potential ballot measure. Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Leadership, Dr. Rhonda Hannaford, and Assistant Superintendent of Elementary and K-8 Leadership, Wes Tuttle, shared an update on the 2017 summer school. Board members had an opportunity for questions and comments, and that concluded the work session.
Thank you, ma'am. The next item is the superintendent's report. Dr. Pilch,
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt.
welcome back.
Thank you. I know you'll be surprised to hear that I have several things I want to talk about in my report because we've been gone for a while. So I too want to welcome Ms. Pappas and Mr. Lydiak back. It's great to have you back at the board table and great to see you both doing so well. So welcome back, guys. And then, Pastor Meek, I want you to know that our kindergartners will be reading before the end of kindergarten. I'll be happy to take you to some schools and show you. It's amazing and wonderful at the same time. Witnessed it myself many times last year in classrooms. We've mentioned in our work session the tremendous success of the school kickoff event that was hosted this past Saturday by District 6. But again, I want to recognize Teresa Myers and her staff for all of the work and really organization and planning and partnership that went into that school kickoff event. And I want to thank all of our community partners who came forward and sponsored booths and were a part of the event on Saturday. We believe we had between 5,000 and 6,000 people who participated in the event that day. And we believe that at least 3,000 of those people were the people between the ages of 6 and 18 because we gave away over 3,000 backpacks stuffed with school supplies. It was a tremendous event. In the 3 years that I've been here, I've watched this event continue to grow. And someone was saying to me, do you think it can get any bigger? And I'm guessing it probably can because it has become such a significant event here in our community.
Teresa just fell over.
I know, she's dying over there. And it's such a wonderful way to kick off the school year for all of us. You know, our teachers came back today, and I was in schools all morning. It was wonderful getting a chance to welcome teachers back and to share some of the district initiatives with our teachers. I plan to hit every school before the end of the week, and I'm really looking forward to it. School starts Monday for all students grades 1st grade through 12th grade. Our kindergartners don't come till August 24th, and we do know that Monday is also the day of the solar eclipse. So we've made some plans here in District 6, and we do have glasses for all of our students, and we do have some activities that we've encouraged our staff to lead for our students. But at the end of the day, if we have parents who are concerned about the safety of your child because of that eclipse that day or the viewing of it, we understand, and we understand if you would choose to take your child out of school during that time. But we have some good plans in place, and we feel confident about what we're doing, and not only using it as an educational experience, but really giving kids a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity there. As we start school, I also want to talk a little bit about transportation. As the board knows, and many of our community know, we made some significant changes in transportation this past spring as we looked at our budget and really looked at our inability to fill all of the positions that we have for bus drivers, and we wanted to move our high schools to a later start. So just a few reminders. We increased the walk distances at elementary and middle school and K-8s. We eliminated high school busing as we know it so that we could go to a later start at high school. That was what was really behind moving the high school start time later. We will run buses east to west and north to south for our high school students, as well as the city will continue with their routes that our high school students may access as well. If families have questions about transportation, they should go to their school's website and work with their school directly. I've had some questions even today when I was out with some staff asking, well, if we pass a mill levy override, will we be able to bring transportation back? So what staff has been working on is that if we do have additional resources in District 6, we will be able to reinstate what we have cut around the elementary transportation. And so hopefully this is short-lived. Hopefully we can get through this fall and then have some more resources, even though Pastor Meek says we won't. I have to believe that we will, Pastor Meek, and then we'll be able to remedy some of the issues there around transportation. I want to share a change here in the district. We have had here in this building the Welcome Center, where we have welcomed families and we've helped coordinate activities and materials and registration for families. We are transitioning, that team did some visioning work over the summer, and we are transitioning to what we are calling that team now to be the Greeley-Evans District 6 Family Center. With a greater emphasis on coordinating all of the resources in the district with the community resources to ensure that students and families have what they need and understand what they need to navigate this world of public education. We also are looking to relocate the Family Center to what you all have known as the former GAP building. That won't occur right away, but we are looking to that site to relocate the center. We're excited about this change, and it's an opportunity with a new school year and some new staff in the Family Center to really do some re-imaging and restructure the work that we do there. So I will keep you all posted, Board of Education, as we move forward with that. And then finally, I just want to close with making some comments about our former community member, Mike Guile. And so Mike Guile passed away here last month after a battle with cancer. And his family hosted a service and a celebration of life last week, which most of us were able to be a part of. But I could not let tonight go without mentioning Mike because of his tremendous support of District 6. Just over a year ago, he stood before you, our Board of Education, at our podium and implored you all to put a ballot measure on the ballot for more resources for students in District 6. And Mike saw that as an investment in our community. He saw it as an investment in our children and an investment in the future workforce of our community. And Mike had vision like that. And that's just a little piece of what he did for District 6 very recently, toward the end of his life. But he did so much in this community through the many organizations that he was a part of. United Way, he served as an Ames board member, he served as a county commissioner, and he will be greatly missed in this community as one of our great leaders. And I just wanted us to recognize him before we got on with our board meeting tonight. So thank you, Mr. DeWitt, for allowing me that time.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I'm going to make another allowance, and our vice president has a couple of comments to make. News that's coming from the Greeley-Evans Transportation Department.
That's right. I was able to speak with the manager of the Greeley-Evans Transportation this Saturday at our school kickoff event. We've got amazing partnerships with the city of Greeley. Part of it is what you witness here with the shared council chamber and with the board chamber. The new fields at Heath Middle School at West and improvements on the tennis courts at Central came from the quality of life tax that was Greeley saw and put in place several years ago, and have blessed the schools with those facilities. Also, District 6 Stadium. We need to make remembrance of that. So that's almost $6 million, if I remember right, pretty close on the fields improvements that have come from there. But also, we know that we found that many programs were going underutilized because students couldn't get there. So if you have a student on the east side that wants to participate in an engineering course study on the west side that's offered at Northridge, didn't really have a method to do that. Well, 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, maybe almost 4, City of Greeley implemented, under Roy's leadership, Roy Otto, and Mayor Norton, that any student of District 6 can ride the GET transportation system for free. All they do is show their student ID. Well, if I'm not mistaken, the first year there were 40,000 rides. One trip, end to end, one ride. Second year was almost 105,000. This last year, they totaled everything up and they've got a number, and it surpassed 150,000 rides.
Wow.
By students. Now, if it only cost $1 per one way, which it costs more than that, you can't fire up your car and drive across town and come back for less than that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention and thank the city, and these are things of the partnerships that we have going today. Just a brief statement of the partnerships. So Roger, I just want to mention it.
Good news all the way around. It's a phenomenally important relationship with our city. It's unique, I think, among cities in the country. So we're grateful and lucky. Well, back to work. The next item is the approval of the agenda, and this is an action item that will require a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there comment or discussion? Roll call, Ms. Crane?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Next item is the consent agenda, and it's an action item, also requires a motion at this time. The motion is on page 7 of your packet.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approves items as presented on the consent agenda and authorizes the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion and comments? Roll call, Ms. Crane?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am.